Miss April Gillespie. April, are you on the line with us?
Yes, I'm here. Thanks so much, Wayne.
Very excited to have you as a guest, and I will let our audience know a little bit about you. April is a BDPA member. She's a member of the BDPA Cincinnati chapter. That is how we met her. But she is also a very, very active entrepreneur and business owner and a very active business development director for NAS Recruitment Communications. That is a leading provider of innovative human resource communication solutions. She is an outstanding communications person. She is known nationwide as a speaker on a variety of topics. She is outstanding in terms of providing innovative ways for companies to deal with their recruitment of technology and other business professionals. And we have asked her to talk with us about a number of things. I guess I'll get started, April, with our very first question, which is simply to ask you, what attracted you to BDPA and what keeps you actively involved?
Well, when I first learned of BDPA, I actually was invited to one of the monthly program meetings by a friend of mine who actually was is a congressman for the state of Ohio, and I was really intrigued by the content as well as the level of professionalism by the members as well as the board members that were there. And in my business, everything that I do for my clients as well as for my own businesses is very technology focused. Everything that we do today is based in a digital world. So I saw this as a great opportunity to not only increase my own personal knowledge to advance my own businesses, but also those for my clients, because there's really only so much information that I can gather from my internal resources. So I really just saw it as a great opportunity to network with other people that have more advanced knowledge than myself.
Well, that is outstanding. And you joined earlier this calendar year. Is that right?
Yep, that's right. Mm-hmm.
And so that's how you got involved and learned about the organization. And I am aware, because we're a member of the same chapter here in Cincinnati, that you also became a director. You're part of the board of directors. Can you tell us what led you to accept that leadership challenge?
Sure, absolutely. My day work is focused very much around recruitment, communications, and through my connections in the human resources industry for a variety of different things that I do, I thought it made a lot of sense. So I'm really excited about some of the things that we have planned for 2012. Thankfully, Cincinnati is already one of the top 10 chapters for BDPA throughout the country, but we're certainly looking to expand that membership base and really create more substantive connections across a variety of other IT-related groups throughout the greater Cincinnati and northern Kentucky area. So with my level of expertise and just connections in HR, I thought it was a perfect fit.
That is outstanding. You have written for for a number of publications in the past, and one of the articles that you wrote was very, very interesting for a number of our BDPA members across the country. You wrote a article about high tech versus high touch. We had that on our one of our BDPA blogs, and it was in a number of other areas. Just very interested if you can share. I guess that's the challenge in 2011 that people are facing. We've always talked about networking and relationships from a person-to-person point of view, and how you network and connect with people face-to-face, good eye contact and firm handshake and the like. And then as we moved into the era of social networking and the era of online connections, people are starting to maybe move too far down that road, where they're too much high tech, and they text a person that's sitting in the backseat of the car instead of talking to the person in the backseat of the car. You talked about that a little bit in your article, high tech versus high touch. Can you tell our audience some of your thoughts on that subject?
Absolutely. This is an area where I'm very, very, very passionate about, and as I'm out networking with different people, the first thing we want to do is be able to connect with them in the virtual world. We all have such limited time, so we want to be able to make those online connections to stay in touch with the different people that we meet, both personally as well as professionally. But if you take a look at at how many Twitter followers you have or how many friends you have on Facebook. Some of us have 2,000 to 5,000 friends on Facebook. So how do we really create substantive connections with these types of people? And what I always tell individuals is if you're going to request a connection with someone, and let's just use LinkedIn, for example, the first thing you need to do is make it personal. So opposed to just leaving that very generic statement, yes, I'd like to, add you to my professional network on LinkedIn, why don't you tell the person why you want to connect with them? If I'm connecting with a fellow HR professional or recruitment professional or even IT professional, I'm going to say, hey, I see that you're, very active in the IT community in Greater Cincinnati. Would love to connect with you over coffee at your earliest opportunity. Please let me know how I can be of service to you. And I'm going to include that type of information in my initial connection so they understand, okay, I'm not just trying to increase my quantity of connections in my network, but I actually want to connect with people where either I can add value to them or they can add value to me. And another thing is just really focusing on, requesting that real life connection. So, every single day we're getting, connections through LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter. And if there's someone that wants to connect with me, I'll certainly accept their connection, especially if I feel that there's going to be a positive value exchange there. But the very first thing I'm going to do as soon as I accept that connection, if they're local to me or even if they're long distance, I'm going to request a conference call or I'm going to request to meet them for coffee or lunch. I think we have to take the connection one step further. And I often do this if I'm traveling, even in another city on business. I'll connect with people in that city and say, hey, I'm coming into town. I see that you're also in the human resources industry. Would you be open to getting together over coffee while I'm in town just for a couple of days? And you'd be surprised at the number of people that would be willing to connect with you while you're traveling on business. So those are just a few of the things that we consult a lot of our clients on is take the engagement to the next level and don't just keep it in the online space, but definitely take it offline so that you will get an opportunity to look that person in the eye as well as to shake their hand in person.
Those real life connections, the connections that are made with human beings as opposed to with your computer screen or your smartphone application. I suppose those sometimes people wonder, what if I'm not sure of what I can offer to that? Is that are you looking when you go into those lunch meetings or those coffee meetings? Are you looking to get a business advantage or a business? Is it a revenue source for you, or is it something that that you put into your mind that I'm doing this for a different reason?
It depends on the interaction. If it's someone that I feel that there really could be a potential business opportunity with, absolutely, but it never can be one-sided. I think that's what's really important. If I can't determine how I can add value to them or how they could potentially add value to me, it may or may not make sense for us to get together. But I wouldn't just stay focused on that initial connection with that person because, as we know, networking is not about who you know, but it's also about who knows you. And that's something that I think we tend to lose sight of as well. So we have to remember the word connection has the word connect in it. And so how we all are connected is just as important as how we're connecting with that individual person. I might have people in my network that could add value or benefit that person that just connected with me on Facebook or on Twitter or on LinkedIn. So I think we have to make sure that it's not just about, hey, I'm out here trying to get business, but the value of your net worth is very much focused on your network. And so it's really about creating more substantive connections and adding value to someone's life. And if a business transaction takes place, great. But more times than not, we're just looking to make a friend first.
That makes a lot of sense. I'm wondering, there might be people that are listening to what you said in terms of not forgetting the high-touch part of relationships and not making it strictly a high-tech with friends on LinkedIn or friends on Twitter or followers on Twitter or friends on Facebook. So if someone's listening to you and they're hearing that and they're saying, you know what, I'm going to begin tomorrow, I'm going to have this new thought process, this new way of handling those people that I'm connecting with online through those social networks, do they just start with the new people, or do you have a thought as to what do they do with their current friends? Should they defriend them and start all over? How do you suggest they think about the people that they've already friended in a high-tech way but not reached out to in a high-touch way?
There's still an opportunity for you to add value to those individuals, whether you create a real-life interaction or not. And it all comes down to how you are going to add value. And I'll just give you a great example. I'm obsessed with Mexico. It's my favorite all-time vacation destination. So I came across a really great Groupon today, a Groupon getaway, and I posted it on my Facebook page because I know that I see people consistently talking about different ways that they're trying to save money on travel, because with the cost of flights and gas, it can be very expensive to do any type of international travel right now. One of the people that I had actually responded back to me via Facebook through an inbox and said, and I don't really have a close connection with this person. I'm connected with them probably 3 degrees of separation. But they said, oh, my gosh, I was just talking to my wife today about planning a vacation, and we were talking about Cabo, and that's what I had posted, was something about Cabo. And I said, hey, if you ever need, any assistance on planning a trip to Cabo, I've been there several times, feel free to give me a call. I'll be more than happy to help you out. He said, yeah, absolutely. I'm going to talk to my wife tonight, and, I might give you a call. Great. So that's someone that I've never met in person, but because I added something of value to my network, which was just, hey, I found this out, I think other people might want to know about it too. That's an opportunity for me to connect with someone that's probably been in my network for quite some time. But even furthermore, if you just take a look at who, your connections are, you can begin to kind of categorize them and put them into groups. And the great thing about Facebook is they do allow you to do that now with some of their advanced technology, and LinkedIn allows you to do the exact same thing. So you can begin to kind of categorize these people to see, okay, maybe my best connections right now are people that are either in a similar industry, or maybe I'm out of work right now and these people seem to be job seekers as well. Maybe they know about other job seeker forums or groups that are going on in the city. Let me reach out to those people first. So I think you just have to think about the priorities for your own life or for your own business and begin to create those more substantive connections based on what's most important to you.
That is outstanding. The work as a business development director with is it NAS or is it NAS Recruitment Communications?
NAS.
The work that you do as a business development, can you tell us more about your responsibilities in that career choice?
Absolutely. So my work that I do with NAS is really focused around building new client relationships throughout the Midwest, which includes primarily southern Ohio, anything below Columbus, all of Kentucky, all of Tennessee, as well as southeast Indiana. And I work with organizations across a variety of different categories, from healthcare to automotive to retail, department store. And I really help them build out their recruitment communications plan. And so this is focused around building out their brand messaging to attract as well as retain A-level talent, as well as their entire marketing and communications plan on how they're going to engage that talent to get them to want to come work for their company. So it's actually very empowering, because this is very critical, as we know right now, because so many people are looking for jobs. And I guess what I would tell all the job seekers out there right now is, companies are really taking a close look at, their value proposition and why you actually would want to come work for them. So just as you may be doing that as a job seeker, companies are definitely beginning to invest more in that right now as well, because as we do come out of this recession, they want to make sure that, especially for those A-level candidates, as we all are, that they're making sure that their company is on the short list of those organizations that A-level candidates may be looking to work for. So it's very exciting times right now, although, there are some tremendous challenges that companies are facing. There are definitely organizations out there like Toyota and Macy's and Children's Hospital, at least here locally within Cincinnati, that are really looking to make some tremendous strides in terms of their positioning in the marketplace to make sure that they are attracting the best talent into their company.
That sounds like a very, although challenging, also sounds like a very rewarding and fun job, fun thing to do as your employment. You know an awful lot about marketing from the work that you've done. There are an awful lot of folks from BDPA chapters around the country that are volunteers, and they're basically technical folks that are trying to work with this volunteer organization to advance the careers of African Americans in the IT industry. What suggestions would you have for any of those BDPA leaders on marketing, on getting the word out about their organization?
Absolutely. I think the word of this age, in my opinion, is engagement, and that's what everybody wants right now. We always say, think locally but think globally. So we have individuals that have very fast-paced lives that are involved in BDPA. So how do we begin to connect these individuals across multiple touch points? What we're doing right now through the iRadio show is a phenomenal opportunity to connect people all throughout, the country or even the world, if need be. But, just a quick, idea is to do something like, a 7-day challenge. And this is something that everybody can relate to, whether you're highly involved in technology or not. But, if you institute, say, a 7-day challenge to tech-proof your life. So, think about all the different things that you're utilizing technology for throughout your life, and how can you utilize technology better in order to make your life more efficient, more productive, whether it's personally or professionally. And give very specific things that people can do over a 7-day period, and create kind of an online blog where people can report back on different things that they've done to utilize technology to improve their everyday life. Because I think when it comes to technology, we have to make it practical for everybody, because everything that technology professionals are doing ultimately is impacting every single consumer as the end user. So that's what we always have to keep in mind, is how can I make this practical for everyone, regardless of what their profession is. And so I think that would be the big thing, is just engagement. The second thing is really, when it comes down to, is how can I make this relevant to my community? So taking the concepts that technology professionals are learning every single day at their job, in their coursework, whatever they may be involved in, and then integrating that into their community. I know in Cincinnati, we're highly involved with different elementary schools, and making sure that communication is filtering all the way down into the youth community. I'm sure other chapters are getting highly involved in faith-based organizations, but I think it all comes down to relevancy and showing people how technology is improving their life. I've always felt that the definition of business is we're working to make someone's life better. And so that's obviously the case for technology, but that's really the case for every single business and initiative that we're all involved in, is we got to focus on how are we going to make someone's life better. So relevancy and connecting to our community and creating high engagement experiences for the members.
Wow. That is outstanding. How is BDPA improving your life? How is technology improving your life? That is truly outstanding. I truly appreciate April Gillespie. I appreciate you for being our guest tonight on the iRadio show. Any last words that you'd like to share with the audience?
I think just in closing, I would just recommend everyone through all of your virtual connections, through all social media, or even when you're just out networking at an event, connect with that person right then in a substantive way. You don't have to wait until you find them on LinkedIn to get together with them in a second interaction. Go ahead and, say, hey, you know what, we had a great conversation. Let's grab coffee next week. And then, send them a LinkedIn request, send them a Facebook request, or follow them on Twitter and say, I'm really excited to hear about some of the things that you have going on. Let's be sure that we stay in touch. But let's just make sure that we're closing the technology gap and we're making those connections meaningful in our everyday life.
That's wonderful. April, thank you very much again for being our guest, and I look forward to working with you on a local level, and I'm sure that people that have been listening to you are looking forward to making a high-touch connection with you to follow up on some of the ideas that you've been sharing. Thanks an awful lot, April.
Thank you.